Yeah, so going back to when Well Told Secrets was being said, because I think that's what I was talking about. Yeah, the Overnight Channel speculates about it being the actual walls, the actual house itself, which is somewhat haunted it, so that you are kind of living within a conscious living thing. So with saying walls have secrets, maybe that's what it's referring to. Um, or maybe it's more than just a dodgy cellar. Um, but I don't know. It is interesting. Again, like I say, with the word, it'll be very interesting to look through the word lists, which I'm not going to do until the end of the investigation. I saw a post saying something like from the 15th of October, the veil starts thinning, and then it's at its thinnest on the 31st, and then the portal closes on the 10th of November. So I'm likely going to be investigating until the 10th of November. Maybe just after. I might go until like the 20th of November.
Joshua.
Joshua, again, the first male name, that's been said. The first male name. Hello, Joshua, if you are here. If I'm at all on the right lines, please line up the bear with any of this. Use my energy, use the energy from the plasma ball to do that. Yeah, so so it's all about portal close on the 10th of November. So from here, in theory, this is going to kick out more direct responses. I might get the bell lighting up more. I would hope so, especially with the 28-day cycle. This is why I wanted to start early October, so that then not only when I investigate on the 31st, which I will do, is there hopefully going to be a good bit of activity, but it should be ramped up because of me already having investigated for a ton of days.
Unexplained.
Unexplained. Again, that's rustling a lot. That's one of the things, having that door closed. Because there is a draft, so I'm just like, is it paranormal that it's moving? It's paranormal causing the draft? Is it just a draft? Because my mum's window might be open. Probably that. Yeah, so the point with the walls thing, um, maybe the spirit's been watching. You know, maybe the spirit has been watching things that I've been watching on YouTube.
The rack.
The rack. See, the shelves that the dolls are on look a bit like a rack, in a way.
Paranormal.
Paranormal. You say that the dolls are legitimately haunted, spirit. It's not saying anything about dolls. Because again, like, the only rack I can think of is kind of the shelving unit type thing that the dolls are on. And straight it's like paranormal. I was like, okay. Now if it said dolls, I'd be like, yep, you're referring to the dolls, very clearly. Because surely you can say that if it's just going off phonetics as well. But that's if it is going off phonetics. I don't think it goes off phonetics, I think it goes off a word bank. Or at least, because the app goes through clear updates or clear tweaks. Because there was a point in time where it started saying loads of Latin, like loads of Latin. You'll see those word lists because I did a couple during that time. And I was like, well, why is it saying so much Latin? And now it's not saying hardly any Latin. So clearly something's been tweaked to allow it to just throw out all this Latin, and then it was tweaked back again to restrain that. If it was working purely on phonetics, if the spirit wanted to speak Latin, it could speak Latin. right? But you wouldn't suddenly decide, you wouldn't wake up one day and be
Agatha.
like, hello Agatha, again another female name. You wouldn't wake up one day and just be like, you know what, in the mood for a bit of Latin today, and then suddenly all the spirit talk is just Latin. So that to me says it's a word bank, and when it was saying Latin, they dumped a bunch of Latin words in there, right? Or at least something was adjusted so that it could start speaking way more Latin. It's like the Latin, like select languages, the Latin box was suddenly ticked. I was like, whereas now it's been unticked. Or at least maybe it's going through a process of translating words. I don't know. So maybe they've added a feature where, it was saying loads of Latin and now it's not just saying the Latin, it's taking the Latin and then translating it. Maybe that's where the misspelling's coming from, because it's not direct translations. Maybe that's one way it's working. But again, for it to do phonetics, there needs to be more to it than just the phonetics. It's saying repeated words. It's saying not just repeated words, but also across different devices with different people using it. It's saying the same things. So it's like it does have a word bank of
He's here.
a couple of hundred words. Again, he is here. Who is here, spirit? And the fact it's repeated, the he, makes me wonder, is it legitimately a he? Because the amount of female names it's been spitting out, I'm like, but it's not saying a male name. Well, he said Joshua. Can you say the name of who is here? Who is the he that is here, spirit? Because it could be Joshua, but it could be someone else. Who is here? Who are you referring to? And again, it just said Agatha, so maybe it's meaning Agatha, she's here. Yeah, who is here, spirit? If you say a male name now, then that means that you are intending on saying he. You're scratching my ankle, by the way, if you hear kind of a scratching noise. But who is the he? Need to light more candles. Again, all these candles going out. I've been investigating for about an hour now. I've swapped out every single candle. Sit. I'm already sitting down, spirit. Again, who is it that is here? Who is the he? Because this is something, you can either repeat a name that you've already said. So if it is Agatha that you're referring to, you can repeat Agatha, or you can say a male name. So if it was Joshua that's here, you could repeat Joshua, or you could say a completely different name. So who is the he that is here? Because I think you've figured out how to use the app by now, or at least one of the spirits here has, because we've had a pretty decent conversation at times. So someone present clearly knows how to use it. Like I'm saying with the candles, I've investigated for an hour and I've swapped out every single candle. All candles are being swapped out at least once per investigation. Or at least once per 2 investigations, which means that they're lasting at most 2 hours, not 3.5.
Five.
5. Can you count backwards? She's here, sit 5. I mean, there's kind of 5 minutes left of the investigation from where I usually investigate. So that's somewhat interesting. So it'd be interesting actually to see if it said 5 at roughly the 55-minute mark of the investigation, because usually I investigate for an hour, or at least I aim to for at least an hour. Is it feeling smart? I mean, I've just woken up for a nap. I'm feeling a bit more energized. So of course, from that point of view, I'm going like, oh, it feels like there's a bit of energy here, you know. So there's that. But you know, it's weird because, like I've said before, I wouldn't class here as a haunted location. On a scale of haunted locations, this is like a 1 out of 10. You have occasional instances of, ooh, that's a bit weird. Like with the bag falling earlier, I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. But, you know, that you've seen on the live stream, the bear's not been going off constantly. When it has gone off, I've been able to go, like, you know what, maybe that's a settling period, maybe that's me interfering with it somehow. The cat balls haven't gone off as far as I'm aware. I think that's someone outside, maybe. Either outside or next door. And, you know, as for actual anything happening, noises,
Stay.
whatnot, stay. Now that's interesting. Just as I'm saying, oh, has it said that because there's 5 minutes left of the investigation? Is it a case of back up your neck's really itchy? And you know, we've been like, oh, usually I can stay for about an hour. That implies I'll be wrapping up, and then suddenly that said stay. It'll be interesting actually to see how horse. Okay, that's a bit of a random one. Be interesting to see because I feel like quite often towards the end of an investigation it says something regarding the stay, right? That's how I'm feeling about that. That's going to be an interesting thing to look into to see how close to the hour mark this has said stay or stay here or something like that. Because I've made it very clear I'm going to investigate for at least an hour. So an hour passes and then suddenly the spirit's like, ooh, no, stay here.
Bad entities here.
Bad entities. Which entities are here? Which bad entities? Because I've not really seen any evidence of that. Sure, the app has said things like the devil is real and all that, but it's not. I've not experienced anything, spirit, to indicate that there is a bad entity here. Aside the dodgy seller and the app constantly saying warning things regarding a potential.
Mary Ann.
Mary Ann. See, that's interesting. I ask what bad entities are here, and then it responds with Mary Ann.